There is a place on the Potomac River where the water doesn't just flow, it whispers. At low tide, the surface breaks, revealing the jagged, rotting skeletons of hundreds of giants. This is Mallows Bay. It is the largest shipwreck graveyard in the Western Hemisphere. A place where over 200 ships have been left to die. But these aren't just wrecks. They are a billion-dollar ghost story. A monument to a desperate wartime gamble that failed. And then was forgotten. 1917. The world is at war. German U-boats are sinking Allied ships faster than they can be built. In a panic, the U.S. government forms the Emergency Fleet Corporation. Their plan? Build 1,000 wooden steamships in 18 months. It was a $1 billion bet on a material that was already obsolete. They used green wood, unseasoned timber that warped and leaked before the ships even hit the water. By the time the fleet was ready, the war was over. The Great Wooden Fleet was a fleet of corpses. What do you do with $1 billion of rotting wood? You sell it for scrap. But when the market crashed, the salvage company found a cheaper solution. On a single night in 1925, they towed the fleet into this quiet bay and set them ablaze. Witnesses described the Potomac as a lake of fire. For weeks, the ribs of the great fleet glowed in the dark. A funeral pyre for an industrial era that never quite began. But nature has a way of turning human failure into its own foundation. This is the science of the vessel reef. Over the last century, the rot of the emergency fleet has transformed. The porous, charred wood traps sediment, creating a synthetic soil rich in minerals. Today, these ships are literal islands. Rare ospreys nest in the skeletal masts, and the hulls provide a unique shelter for fish that can't be found anywhere else in the river. It's a haunting biological irony. The ships that were meant to carry engines of war are now the only reason this ecosystem thrives. You aren't just looking at ruins. You're looking at a laboratory of reclamation. But locals will tell you that not everything in the bay is biological. For decades, stories have circulated about the lady in the mist, a figure seen standing on the prow of the S. Boone, one of the few ships whose shape is still recognizable. Some say she's searching for a sailor who never returned from the Great War. Others believe she is the personification of the bay itself. Guarding the graveyard. Then there are the ghost lights, faint, flickering orbs reported by kayakers at night. While skeptics point to marsh gas or bioluminescence from the unique reef life, the silence of Mallows Bay makes it hard to believe in anything but the supernatural. Mallows Bay is a permanent scar on the American landscape. A $1 billion mistake that we eventually stop trying to fix. Maybe that's for the best. History isn't always meant to be cleaned up. Sometimes, it's meant to be left in the mist, where the line between fact and ghost can finally disappear. The mist never truly lifts over Mallows Bay, and neither does our curiosity. If you want to keep exploring the forgotten, the haunted, and the hidden corners of history, subscribe to the channel. The next story is already waiting in the fog.